family. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Give and Take. I'm Sherry Davis. I am here today with Tyler Johnson. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
We're glad to have you today. Tyler is newest to our team. He is serving as the Director of Student Services, and boy, are we glad that you're here. You have jumped in and just taken and owned some of these responsibilities that we're so thrilled that you're part of our team. So we're glad to have you. Just a point of housekeeping, as always, if you're watching us live or in replay, hop into the comments and tell us where you're watching from. And by the way, Tyler, where are you located? Where are you at right now?
We are in northern Alabama, so we're living in Hartselle, which, if you're familiar with the geography at all, it's not too far south of Huntsville.
Okay. All right. So any of you Alabama fans out there in the area, you're not too far from him. You go to, remind me of your church again.
Somerville Baptist Church.
Somerville Baptist Church. And if there's anybody in the area, Tyler would love to see if you're a Veritas family member, you're a student, faculty, anybody that's connected to Veritas, come see Tyler over at Somerville Baptist Church. I'm sure he'd love to meet you in person. Without further ado, we're going to jump right in, as always, and have you tell us how you came to Veritas. What's your Veritas origin story?
Yeah, so really thankful to be a part of the team. My wife and I, we went out to college in 2011 out in California, and that's where I met my wife. Out in California is where all of our kids were born. We have three children, and after I graduated with my master's degree out there, I stayed on staff at the college, worked there for a number of years, and that was at West Coast Baptist College for I guess about 13 years. Our family, starting out just me as a college student, and then getting married and adding children along the way. But all in all, about 13 years, I was in California. And for a variety of reasons, we felt that God was moving us to a new chapter in our lives. And that was a time of a lot of prayer and getting counsel, seeking the Lord. And we decided to make that move. Part of that has landed us here in Northern Alabama. And along the way, the opportunity was something I became aware of as far as coming on as the registrar
Mhm,
with Veritas. Now,
mhm.
something important to know is my very first job out of college, joining the staff, was serving as the registrar in California under Dr. Lester.
So you're
And
well seasoned. You're well seasoned for the registrar
yes,
role.
yes.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely love his approach to work. The work relationship I've had with him is awesome. I have a tendency, I think, to get really down in the details with things and really task driven.
Mhm.
And he has a perspective on quality of work and all of those kinds of things. And I think he brings also just a very enjoyable atmosphere to work and some helpful levity
Yeah,
just to kind of bring a little bit of relaxation to me. I
yeah.
enjoy having fun outside of work. When it's work time, I'm a little bit more business. I've appreciated that. I've really enjoyed working with him. And so when the opportunity was made known to me about Veritas, I was thrilled, I think, about the prospects of working with him again.
Yeah.
I didn't know, honestly, a ton about Veritas. I knew that it existed, but I didn't know a ton about it.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think one of the things that really drew me was I really looked forward to the opportunity to work with Dr. Lester again. And that's been awesome. As I've been here, I've really gotten to grow to love what Veritas is,
Mm,
who it is,
yeah.
the culture, the
Mhm,
people, the students.
mhm.
I'm really thrilled to be a part, thankful to be here, and uh, to to give what I can to improve the college and the experience for the students. And so glad to be a part.
Yeah, we are so thankful for all those reasons you just said. Same, working with Dr. Lester is just a real prize. But also working, having you come in and assimilate so quickly because of your perspective on culture and just your work ethic and the fact that we are work from home employees, which lends itself to its own flexibility, which we have all come to know and love. And so that is really all of those things put into this beautiful cauldron of it just makes it just this really great work experience where we do focus on, we do allow a work-life balance. It's intentional and it is felt, as a worker. But that doesn't diminish the passion that we have for our jobs and for the students and for helping the students reach their goals, which is also our privilege and our honor. And to have you as part of the team as a newcomer jump right in and be as excited about that as we are. We are so thankful for you and for your family. So,
Well,
um,
I think that's one of the obvious things to me about the culture at Veritas is that um, they're very concerned about the employee.
mm,
Like they don't overwork, they don't want you to get burnt out. And I think there's a concern and a desire for the student as well,
yeah,
to do what we can to be a part of helping them train and succeed. And I love that, and I'm
yeah.
glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, same. It's a such a invigorating experience, especially this will be your first opportunity to participate in our graduation ceremony, which is obviously the culmination of all the things that we want at a college, to be able to see the student reach their goals and to be able to just celebrate with them. And especially as an online institution, we don't have opportunities to rub shoulders, throughout the week or any other time. This is our only event. And so it's our big deal and we enjoy it. So for any of those watching, make a point to get to graduation here in the DC area. We can get you the details, but it is such a refreshing experience to be able to see other classmates, other instructors, other graduates, staff and faculty that you've seen and worked with during your academic journey with us. And so we are extending this open invitation to come and celebrate with us. It's May 1st, Thursday, May 1st.
Mhm.
So make a point to get to us. We can give you all kinds of attractions and activities in the area to do while you're here. Make a big vacation of it. We'd love to have you. We've got Michael Raker watching from West Alexandria, Ohio. Hey, Michael. And we've got Lisette. She's watching from Stafford. Thanks for hopping in, Lisette. Okay, so our next segment is where we ask our guests to provide a tip or resource for the student. So not only students in our group right now, obviously it's faculty, but for the tip and the resource as you are thinking about a student who's in the trenches, in the throes of their college experience, and you know what that feels like with a family, ministry, all of these things pulling at you. What tip and resource do you have for these students?
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is the best way to word this, but I'll give some explanation of it. So, I guess my tip would be organize yourself, but
Mm,
don't isolate yourself. And I think what I mean by that is if you're not a very organized person, you can really benefit from organization.
mm,
One of the things that helps me a ton in just getting things done in my work is an app called Todoist. I
mm.
know that's not probably the preferred method for everybody, and it doesn't work for everybody. So I think what's important is finding something that works for you and something that you trust,
Right.
um, that when you close it, you can really engage in the other activities of your life and with people in your life. And that's, I think, where I get to don't isolate yourself. I think for me, being very task driven, and I'm definitely not arrived in this. I think it's something I'm working on as well. But there's a tendency to find my accomplishments in tasks getting done.
Sure. That
And
you're talking about
that's,
the rewarding or the feeling of
yes.
satisfaction there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leo Mishi from Romania says hello. Welcome, Leo. Thanks for popping in.
And so I think what I mean by that is organize yourself to the extent of not isolating yourself. And that's where you temper it, that you don't want to get so siloed to use a term that you mentioned earlier, that you are that you're removing yourself or you're distancing yourself from
Mhm.
relationships and from people. And that's true in work, that's true in life. Uh, so I think Dr. Christian last week, he mentioned, hey, if you need to take a break, but don't quit.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's don't be so driven that you don't realize that pulling back would actually be a helpful thing in your life, whether that's
Yeah.
classes or whether that's amount of things that you're accomplishing. So being efficient is great.
Yeah.
Getting things done is great, but if you're sacrificing people and relationships and family and all of those things along the way, that might be something helpful to keep in mind that, hey, maybe I do actually need to take a break.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes we can
don't
put that
quit, but on the other
productivity.
side, take a break if you need it.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes we can put productivity on its own pedestal. That's exactly right. And sometimes we need somebody, usually it's a spouse or somebody in the family who says, okay, I think you've gone too far. We need to start rethinking our priorities, you know. So it's always helpful to have somebody to speak into it. And that's really good advice. Um, Tell us at the end of this, pop into the comments and send us a link for the productivity. Is it a website or an app? What are you using?
It's an app. You can access it online. You can download it on your phone or iPad or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's helpful. I think it can be aligned to follow the getting things done
Yeah.
methodology if you're familiar with that. Um, but it's not the end all be all of productivity apps.
Got it.
But it's what I use and what I
Okay.
like.
Anne Marie popped in. She's watching from Florence. Hey, Anne, how are you? Okay, so was that did you have another tip for us, or was that the culmination of that?
I think that's a culmination of it. I
Okay.
pursued distance education with, being married, with having kids,
Oh,
along the journey of that as well. I pursued a master's degree through Boston University, and that was a several years long process.
mm,
And taking breaks, I think, was very helpful to have a rhythm of, hey, I'm in a class, but I can make it through. I can do anything for, 8 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is.
right.
And then knowing that on the other end of that, there's going to be a time where I re-engage and reconnect. I think that's been something that's helpful for my family to know as well,
Sure. That's a
especially
good point.
from the perspective of my wife.
It had, I'm sure. We'll have a whole other Zoom call with her, I'm sure. We'll get her going and I'd like to hear all about it. But when especially with the advent of more modules, there is this opportunity for students to take breaks that is not as impactful. Right? The idea of sitting out for 8 weeks if you need it is not as big a deal as sitting out for a whole term. Sometimes that can be so impactful or so stunting that they never recover from it. We used to very rarely encourage anybody to take breaks because of that. It was so hard to get geared back up. But now when classes start more frequently, there's so many more frequent, so many start dates, you can mentally and psychologically take that break, get refreshed, knowing that you're going to re-engage, knowing that your family gets the break, you get to reprioritize for a little while, and then you just jump right back into pursuing your goals. And that's where we get to, when you're working with your advisor, they're very sensitive to that. Like you said, as a culture, we know that it's very difficult to plan your day when you are an adult learner with family, with a ministry, with a job, with home life, with, all the things. And so we realize that we're not always going to be priority number one and shouldn't be, but we do feel like you should take your breaks when you need it, but just knowing that there is another opportunity to jump back in is super helpful. So that's good advice too.
And for some, it may just be find what's sustainable for you
Yeah.
rather than take a break. It might be just limit yourself a little bit rather than trying to pursue 18 or whatever credits
Yeah.
and really trying to dig in and grind through a term or a year or several.
Mhm.
Find a pace that's sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And we talked about just a little peek into our strategic planning. We already talked about how the summer offerings are going to be, the registration will start here soon, April 1st. And summers are a really great way for an adult learner to continue their education without being overloaded in the term. Very rarely, I say that tongue in cheek, but when, an adult learner doesn't often get summers off, unless you're a school teacher and that's that sort of thing, your summers roll around, they roll along just like your fall and your spring. So the summer is a perfect opportunity to jump in, take another course, take off the load from the fall. Sometimes your required classes can load up, and it's an opportunity to jump in and really offset some of your course load, which can be very burdensome. So just a little plug there for summer courses. Okay, great. Thank you so much. That was great insight. Let's hop into our last segment, which is our s'mores. Of course, it's the top 4 best of any category. The category we gave to Tyler today is top 4 electronics. So we always let the guest go first, and I am very curious what you brought to the table today, because I'm curious if we have any overlap. I highly doubt it, but where did my pen go?
So just so everyone knows the breadth of this category, electronics is being defined as anything that can be plugged in or has batteries, right?
Yes,
Am I right on
correct.
that?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
so they might not all be traditionally what we would think of as electronics. My number one, I'm going with cell phone.
I knew it. I didn't even put it on my list because I had a feeling that was going to go number one. Yep.
There are a few that could go for number one. Uh, the cell phone is great, right? It's so helpful, and then, a lot of us might be trying to get off screens when we're not working and things like that, but
Sure.
it's mobile.
Yeah.
It goes with me just about everywhere. I think that's got to be my number one.
Yes, and somebody recently I was reading, they said they called it the remote control to our life. And I was like, boy, isn't that true? Isn't that so true? Because it's almost, you have notes in there and you have reminders and all the things that actually just orchestrate your life in there. And without it, I can understand where people feel like an addict. You feel like if you don't have it that you can't survive. So, yeah, that's a good one. All right, my number one is, I don't know if this could be number one. All of them could fight for number one. Okay, this is my JBL speaker. So this is a
Okay.
high powered speaker. I got this for Christmas. Adam got this for me because he had one and I kept stealing it from him. So I requested one of my own. They're pretty pricey. They're probably in the this is probably like a $70 one or something. Hey Denny, thanks for popping in. Denny's in Antigua, so he's joining us. He says, "Sorry, I'm late. We won't hold it against you. You'll just have to stay in detention later, so no problem." So my JBL speaker I use frequently because we are working with Awana kids and we're learning new songs, and we have, I don't know, probably 60 kids in this room. So I needed one that was better than like the Five Below speaker that I had. I go to the Five Below and get one for I don't know, it's not even Five Below anymore. But so I do love the JBL speaker. It's got a really high quality sound. It can get loud, it can fill up a room. So it's very portable, very nice. So that is my number one. All right, what's your number two?
Number two for me is my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So I use my iPad in for just a ton of different things. Take notes on it. Um, I am a musician and I play piano for our church here in Somerville on Wednesday evenings, and so I've got sheet music that I'll put on here to help me play piano for Sunday or for Wednesday evenings. I also use it as a secondary display. And so there is a ton that helps me with. It's more than just a secondary monitor, but it's just very, very helpful. So that's my number two.
Yeah, that's a good one. I never even put two and two together because I also have an iPad, but I haven't ever used it as a sidecar or as a second monitor until you mentioned it in a meeting the other day. I thought that was pretty good.
Mhm.
Okay, so my number two is, this is going to be very old school of me, but I'm going to pick up my actual calculator that I use.
Oh, wow.
Old, I mean, it's not actually old, but it is very old looking. I think it's maybe only a few years old. And by the way, I had to wipe about probably a full year's worth of dust off of it in order to show it just now. So you're welcome, everyone, for having seen that. But I have it on the top of my desk here. It is part of me. Obviously, I work with the finances and it's just always right here. And it's become my friend. It's become my lifelong friend right here, right on the desk for me. So that's my number two. All right. What is your number three?
Okay, so this is branching out from traditional electronics, but it does plug in. So
Okay. I'm so eager.
that is the key. Shout out to my wife for giving this idea, and it is a great idea, but
All
our
right.
espresso machine.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So
Yes.
we have a Breville espresso machine, and it's got a digital interface. You can select what type of drink you want, and latte just about every morning. It is fantastic, keeps me energized, and
Pretty good.
that's got to be in the list somewhere because
How
it's
many of these are you
important.
having a day?
Normal day, probably one or two.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you had to sigh, a very aggressive sigh, and you had to count it up, then you know those are bad days, right?
Yeah, probably one or two.
Okay. One
There
or
there
two.
are those days that I go beyond, but
Oh, yes. We've all
the
encountered the
normal
days where
day.
you need far more than one or two, for sure. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yes, that's good. Good call. The espresso machine. And by the way, it's espresso, right? Am I saying it right? Because I'm not a coffee drinker.
Espresso, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I get it right. All right. My number three is these are my Raycon earbuds. Also got these for Christmas. They are less expensive as far as I know. I think they're less expensive than the Apple version of these, but they're very well done. They have the noise cancellation. I use these on airplanes. They come in this little bean case. Of course, it has the battery in there, like it'll charge in the case and then you charge the case. So it has, I want to say 8, 10 hours of
Hmm.
charge or something. They're really good. And they fit my ears better. I don't know if I have small ears or what, but I never could get any of the rest of them to stay in. And these seem to do a better job. So I do love my Raycon earbuds. All right. And what is your number four?
Okay, number four, I'm going with massage gun.
Oh, let's
So
hear about this.
I enjoy working out, exercising, lifting, that kind of thing. So sometimes you're sore, sometimes it's been a long day,
Yes.
whatever.
Okay.
It's just it's just a helpful tool. Use
And does
it
that have different
whenever.
heads? Can you change out the heads on that one?
Mhm. Yep. So it's got a ball head. You've got one that's like a fork kind of thing. You got one
Hmm.
that's more like a nub that it kind of gets in there a little deeper. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
really,
What
really
is
helpful. Enjoy
the
it.
model that you have there? What would that cost if somebody went to Amazon?
I'm I'm not entirely sure. This one was a gift, and so
Okay.
definitely thankful for that. This is
We'll have
a
to
Hypervolt.
Hypervolt. Okay, got it. All right. Michael Raker says I've had Raycons. They are good. Yeah, I really like them. The noise canceling has been super helpful on planes and things. So I have used them quite a bit. All right. And so my number four, this is going to be kind of a bummer, like a lower level one, but I really was trying to think, and I have installed AirTags on pretty much everything nowadays. So these are my keys. I've got AirTag on my keys. I've got them on my bag. We put them on the kids when we go to amusement park, kind of thing. So you can buy a pack of 4 or 6 of them and we just put them all over and you kind of pair them with your phone. And it has been very helpful. The newer versions of them will allow you to actually see where it is even within your house. The older versions of them allowed you to see like just kind of a overall spot they might be.
Hmm.
But they will ding. You can get them to connect with sound. So if you're looking around, you can't figure it out, it'll ding so you can follow it through the house. And so we found those to be super helpful. We put them in luggage when we travel and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's a true electronic, but it was something that I found to be helpful more recently. So
Yeah, it seems like it'd be super helpful. I should probably get some of those.
yeah, they even have them now where they're like card size, so you can put them in your wallet. in case you leave your wallet somewhere, you can actually track that. So they're thin and flat. We've been having really good discussions in the ladies meeting about what to do if you lose your wallet. Shout out to Lisa Joyner, and we've gotten some good tips. So see us, follow us for more tips on that, because we have thoroughly explored that subject. Okay, very good. All right, so your number one is iPhone, number two is iPad, number three is your espresso machine, number four is the massage gun, and all of those. So you kind of covered a couple of bases there. You're like true electronic world, and then you departed a little bit, which I
Yep.
like. I
Yep.
like you got a the wide gamut there. So we are super thankful that you are on our team and that you took some time to jump into this live with us. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. I know the students are thankful for that. I know you reach out to them pretty regularly. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching and have popped in. Be sure to reach out for any questions. Module B starts today. So if you're not already registered, jump in, take care of that. We've already talked about how it is our privilege and our honor to help walk you through your educational journey. We are so privileged to be a part of that calling. And so if you're not already part of a class, jump in. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.